Hi, this is Mary Loren Buckman, and I'm here with my cookbook, The Dressing Table. It's just a wonderful, wonderful book. I think you'll enjoy it very much. And I want to thank my sister Rebecca for this really cool sloth apron that she sent me. I love sloths, and ever since, like I said, ever since I've been to the San Diego Zoo and saw a sloth, I just adore them. Thank you, Becky. Thank you very much for this apron. It's really cool. Now today, we're going to have a lot of bacon fun. Today we're going to use a lot of bacon. If you can't use pork bacon, please use turkey bacon. In any of these recipes, that'd be perfect. The first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with a carrot cake. This is very special to me because my mother loved carrot cake, and she would make it, and she taught me how to make it. It's one of the first cakes I ever learned how to bake. And of course, all these recipes are in this book. And then so what we're doing is first we're going to put in the eggs. 4 eggs. Then we're going to put in 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. And then we're going to put in 1.5 cups of sugar. I'm sorry, this is 2 cups of sugar. That was 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. And we're going to turn our mixer on low so this can become incorporated. And then what we're going to do is once we get that mixed in good together, I'm going to put in the herbs next because I like putting in herbs when what this is it's salt and it's cinnamon. It's really spices, I'm sorry, it's not herbs. The herbs are going to be in the meatloaf. But this is cinnamon and then the salt. I can put it in the water because it seems like when you put salt, pepper, herbs, spices in liquid, it seems to distribute better. I put in the cinnamon and I put in the salt. And the next thing we're going to put in is, I have a small can of dried crushed pineapple that I'm going to put in. Because we're kind of getting all the wet ingredients in. And that's all stirred. And then what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to put in the carrots. I'm going to make it a little bit of a mess with the carrots. And I'm going to just get it a little bit mixed in. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the flour. Now when I make a cake, I always like to use cake flour because you're going to have a moister crumb. The sponge is going to be a lot lighter, it's going to be a lot moister. And I really like to use cake flour whenever I make a cake. Cake flour is in. Now my mother used to make carrot cake, and she would make them in the bundt pans. And then before I'd go to school, like the next day or a few days, she would cut me a wedge of carrot cake, and that was my breakfast. And I grew up with that being my breakfast, eating carrot cake for breakfast. And now, that was also baking soda that I put in there with the cinnamon and the salt. And now I'm going to put in I always roast my nuts in the oven at 350, get them brown and golden. These are black walnuts. And these are going to go in. That looks good. That looks really moist. And now what I'm going to do is everything's mixed. I'm going to remix it with my spatula. Now, instead of putting this in a bundt pan like my mother did, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in little cupcakes, make little 12 little cupcakes with it. Whenever I do cupcakes or muffins or anything, I like to spray a little bit of cooking spray inside the paper liners. And I always do this over the sink because I've done this like in the air or on top of the floor and I've always slipped in it. So this is a good little note. I took a spatula and I went in and I dug it up so everything's nice and combined. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in it's kind of a loose batter, but it's going to be very, very moist. I'm just going to put these in here. I have the batter in the cupcakes. I made 12 cupcakes, and I still have quite a bit of batter in the bowl. So I'm going to do, when these are baked, I'm going to do another tray of cupcakes. So I have a total of 24. And so we're going to put these in a 350-degree oven. I'm doing my classic mashed potatoes, and my potatoes and my garlic, my water and my salt is in my pan. And I always start with cold water. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to get this to a good simmer for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are tender. Then I'm going to drain, of course, the potatoes. And then I have a surprise that's coming up next with the potatoes. Now, in a couple of weeks ago, I did my mom's green beans and bacon. And I'm doing the same thing I'm doing them with lima beans. With that recipe, you can use whatever kind of vegetable you would like. I'm doing lima beans, and this is 2 pieces of bacon, a quarter cup of butter, and some salt and pepper. And I'm going to turn these on also. So I have my cupcakes are in the oven, my potatoes are going, and my lima beans are going. Now we're going to start with meatloaf.